Hi Virgo, welcome to your mid-December 2020 General Tarot Update. It's Raina here. I was just thinking, as I was about to record, I was thinking, oh, you see that line that's right down the middle from the Buddha? Because, on the cloth, and it was like driving me crazy. And I was thinking, because I have the moon in Virgo, and I was thinking, that's driving me crazy. Because I just bought this piece of cloth, fabric, to cover my table, and it's right out of the packing, and it's still like has those creases on it, and I thought that a Virgo person might feel me on that one. I'm sure once I wash it, it'll be okay. I don't think I've ironed anything for probably like 12 or 15 years. I can't remember. So that's not happening probably. Okay. So one thing I want to say before I lay out the cards is that one of the things that I wanted to look at here is the eclipse, the solar eclipse on December 14th. Which is in Sagittarius. Now, Sag is another mutable sign and is your fourth house of home and family. So there could be big changes. Maybe some of you have moving plans. And it doesn't have to be on December 14th. This could be going into the new year, moving house and things like that. But one thing is for sure, look to the fourth house of home and family and the 10th house of career, where Gemini resides in your chart for new beginnings and endings in the next year. So these areas are going to be triggered, and that can be very exciting especially if you want to move. That can be helpful for you in that way. So the other thing about the fourth house, this could be some kind of, this is the house of the mother, or, even you becoming a mother, or if you're a man, this nurturing novelty that has to do with nurturing. So perhaps, with an eclipse, if it just comes on you suddenly, it might be an unexpected pregnancy. Usually that is the fifth house of conceiving children, but I extend it to the fourth house, or having some kind of, child moving in with you, or children, maybe just like, an addition to your household for some reason, and so a change in that regard. But like a positive change. So as well as like perhaps a new home itself. It's funny because I got that card for Sagittarius, so that was kind of funny that I got that. Okay, so we have a few major arcana cards in this reading, so that's interesting. That could mean that change is afoot as well. So the heart of the matter is the Eight of Swords. Let me bring the past position. Past position is the Ace of Swords. So these are two cards that are associated with air signs. Gemini, a favorite of yours for more than one reason. Libra and Aquarius as people, those could be like literal signs. And this may even be a new relationship. And also, this can be seeing the light about something. Now, you don't have to know much about astrology, the tarot, to know that this card, it looks like the symbol of oppression, doesn't it? But this is coming from swords, which connect to thoughts. So it's oppressive thought patterns that you, Virgo, may possess. Now, as it relates to this specific issue, there may be some kind of a situation that has made you feel like you can't move, like you cannot leave that situation. A new relationship, and this may not be something that is like where you are having an affair or anything like that, but you may have met somebody recently that has kind of underscored what a relationship could be like. And what that has done is it has given you hope, perhaps, but also it has emphasized how trapped you really are, because perhaps you were kind of in denial. When I see the Ace of Swords, pop up in a reading, what I feel is that before the Ace of Swords, there was denial. And the person is starting to wake up to the reality of the situation. And this can be a sense of liberation, though, that you are realizing, your oppression. Because you probably have heard of the boiling frog syndrome, that some people tolerate negative situations until they realize that it's like a dire situation. And they use that analogy that the frog doesn't realize that that they are in trouble, until it's too late. So the thing with you is that I think a lot of Virgo people do believe on some level that their thoughts will set them free, and I agree. However, I also think that you have to take inspired action too. It's not just about thinking your way out of something. And if this is a work-related matter, maybe you have been the loyal servant, Virgo employee. And I can't believe I had the guts to say that Virgo is the servant, because I got really called out by multiple Virgos when I said, and it's absolutely true, that the sixth house and you representing that sixth house can one of the themes is the servant, and because Virgo likes to serve. And being the great worker that you are, you may not realize, that it's something, that there's it's like a dead end. I could see this Eight of Swords, maybe like a dead end job, a job maybe you even get promised that you're going to advance, and it just never happens. So the higher message is Ten of Wands. And it's interesting because I was even thinking of the Nine of Wands with this card. Ten of Wands can be shouldering a burden, working very hard. I mean, it could just be in general working too, overworking. But it can be that you are shouldering a burden that doesn't belong to you. And that's kind of what I see with a, certain Virgos. You might be the kind that tries to go all out, and you're being taken advantage of. And maybe it's starting to dawn on you that that's the case, but you still can't find it within yourself to get out of the situation. And there could be multiple reasons for that. You may feel like you have to do it, that you don't have a viable alternative, and you have to pay your bills. And that would be perfectly logical. But one of the things as a message card, or, like a bigger picture card of the Ten of Wands, Virgo, is if you burn out, if you are working for somebody that is demanding of you more than they should, if you're doing the work of more than one person, you could burn out, and then you wouldn't be able to do anything. And so if you're so worried about, I have to be productive, I have to do this, and you forget that you could be doing something excessively, and then it's all toast. So you have to be able to see that, so that you don't invest your energies into something that is fundamentally unfair. It's funny that this is the challenge card, because this is exactly what I'm talking about. The Justice card is about fairness. Now, the Justice card connects to Libra, one of the air signs. So this could be underscoring, if you're involved with a Libra, and it's a problematic relationship, it's just giving you another sign specifically about that person. But in terms of what the Justice card represents, it's injustice. So it's like you're not being treated fairly, and then on top of that, you feel like you don't have any other options. So you feel trapped. And the thing is that being treated unfairly isn't okay. If somebody else that you work with doesn't have the same responsibilities and you have the same job position, that's not fair. And if they're making more money, that's really not fair. So the longer you remain in that situation, the more they get the opportunity to exploit you. While for many people, they can't just quit because of financial obligations. At the very least, the Ace of Swords is about seeing the situation as it is. That's really the key to unlocking all of this, because even the Justice card, the symbol of the Justice on this deck is holding a sword. So it's all in the mind. And you can, reprogram your mind in a way where you feel like there's more possibilities for you, because you may be feeling a sense of limitation as well, and you're telling yourself things that may not actually be true, simply because that's just how you perceive it at this moment. What's coming in, or the advice, the World card indicates an ending, and this is like an end of an era, a cycle. The World card is the last card of the major arcana. So looking at it, like I said to you not too long ago, the area of home and family and career are being triggered by these eclipses in the next year. So whether or not you just keep staying where you are, or if this is a relationship that is serious, where you are sharing a home together, in the home front, both of these situations may get altered without you lifting a finger. So it's really, to prepare for a cycle to end. And if if that's one of your kind of hang-ups, where you don't like change, even though the typical Virgo would, because you are a mutable sign, but you have other things going on, moon signs and all that jazz, you might feel resistant to some of these changes and attempt to control, to stem the tide, whatever. And in doing so, it could really make it so that you have, you kind of prolong the inevitable. And so what they have said, what I've heard said, about eclipses, is to, be open to whatever happens, and not to cling to, not to be afraid of the change that comes. And who knows? I mean, sometimes it may not even seem like anything has happened, but there might be some area of your life where there is an ending. And here's the other thing, a season of your life. So I think a lot of times with the Eight of Swords, and, looking at the denial that the Ace of Swords is supposed to kind of transcend, is a lot of times people are thinking of happier times. You know, when they first started a job, when they first started a relationship, when things were running a lot smoother, and not how they, you know, what has become, if it's deteriorated in some way. So, very interesting. And then the outcome card is another major arcana card, the Emperor, which is, you see that this is number 4 in the major arcana. And the number 4 relates to foundation and order. And the Emperor is about taking control of your life. Now, in terms of individuals, a couple of these cards have themes of the law. The Justice card and the Emperor could be a judge. So it's possible if you have been, you know, maybe you've been trying to get divorced, and you get like a decision that goes against you that's unfair, but ultimately you may, you know, because I'm reading the Justice card like a challenge or a reverse card, but the Emperor is upright, and so perhaps you appeal and you get the decision that you were looking for. So with that 8 of Swords, if there was something that you want to be released from, and this can even be like a contract at work, some kind of a contract that has to do with a financial obligation. In that case, the 10 of Wands is this feeling of this burden that you're trying to get rid of. But anyway, there's a theme here of resolution with the World card, some kind of like ending that, you know, tying up those loose ends so you can move on to your next cycle of life. And the Emperor feels in control, or you may assume that feeling of gaining control back to your life, or for your life, of your life. You know, having control of your life again. Perhaps you've been on a crazy roller coaster with an individual that you have been trying to extricate yourself from that relationship, and now it's like a sense of liberation. And when I say now, these cards, even though I, you know, intend them for a certain period of time, I don't feel that you can do that. It's just really a reading of this present moment. And it's interesting because I've had people say to me that a reading that I've done actually occurred to them a year prior to that. And I'm not really surprised, even though this is just like a general reading for everybody under one sign. I myself have experienced tarot readings, general tarot readings on YouTube that spoke to me personally. And the timing isn't necessarily going to be on point with whenever it is that the person is doing. It's not like astrology, where it is dependent on, you know, transits and certain dates. So it's kind of interesting how this all plays out. So anyway, I hope that you enjoyed this, Virgo. If you would like a private reading, I do a lot of astrological readings, like looking at the 2021, looking at the natal chart for various reasons, and overall chart analysis and whatnot. Please click on the link below for more information on my different types of readings. Thank you for watching. Take care. Bye.